fellow book lovers, welcome back to the Bibliovert channel. My name is Jacqueline. So a couple of weeks ago I made a video about my favorite fallish books to recommend. So I am going to continue with that train, and this video is going to be some of the books that I would really love to get to this fall. So I have a very long list. I'm gonna try and get to all of them today because I think there are like 15-ish on this list. So I might keep some of the descriptions a little bit shorter and just kind of like the keywords that jumped out to me when I was making this list. But just a few things to note. I do not enjoy horror. I don't handle it very well. So there aren't any horror books on there. However, there are a few thrillers, definitely mystery books on here. And then some of the things that I've recently found myself interested in is very much the dark academia, secret society kind of things. So you might see some common threads throughout this list. I have included one kind of cute contemporary rom-com situation, but that is kind of what we're working with today. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first one is a book that I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't like initially very interested in reading this book. However, I have seen it everywhere and it has received high praise. And so because of that, because of what other people have told me, it has definitely made me pique my curiosity, and it does just kind of feel like it would fit for fall really well. But it is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. From what I can tell, this is like a very atmospheric read. It is about a circus that just shows up out of the blue without any warning, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of like the Caravel series by Stephanie Garber, but like less fantasy and more just kind of fantastical, I guess. However, within the circus performers, there is a competition going on, and only one will be left standing at the end of it. So this book has been sitting on my shelf for quite a while now, but I really would love to get to it this fall. Okay, so the next one is actually one that has been pretty high up on my TBR for a while, and it is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. Now, this book is set in a private school in Vermont, and Stevie Bell, our main character who attends the school, is a true crime aficionado and is very fascinated by a crime that had happened at this school in years past, and it was kind of like one of the greatest unsolved mysteries, so she's determined to solve it. And as she's trying to solve this crime, history starts to repeat itself and Truly Devious makes a return. So I have heard absolutely amazing things about this series. The next one is a fantasy novel, and it is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. The concept just like absolutely blows my mind and is so captivating to me. The idea of all of these parallel Londons, and Kel is able to travel through all of them, and you meet Lila Bard, who steals from Kel and then proceeds to save his life and demand to be able to travel between these Londons. And it's just absolutely fascinating to me. I think just kind of like this atmospheric feeling that V.E. Schwab was able to tie into this book, and the premise of it just absolutely has me already on the edge of my seat, and I don't even own it yet. So that is certainly one that is like has absolutely piqued my curiosity, and I think I just need to go ahead and read it. We then have The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Now, for the most part, the idea of this book has me very excited, and I think it would fit in with some of the other fall books that I'm excited about. However, I think that it might be the most outside of my comfort zone of reading. I usually read YA in a fantasy with the occasional rom-com, but I don't love like contemporary fiction. And this one, I'm just very curious to see if some of the themes or tropes or ideas within it are ones that will vibe well with me. But some of the major ones seem like they might. So basically I'm confused, but I'm hopeful is probably the best way to say this. But it is a secret society, dark academia. Basically it's this group of students who are in the secret society, and as they delve deeper and deeper into it, they start to get into worse and worse situations and influences of like greed and corruption and evil and all of these kinds of things. So it kind of sounds like there might be like a thriller potential mystery aspect to it. I really couldn't tell from the blurb. So it might be one that I end up loving, or it might be one that is just not my preferred cup of tea. So we will just have to see. However, color me interested is probably where I'm gonna stand on this one for now. Okay, so for me, this is like simple math, but anything witch equals like fall, October, spooky vibes, vibe. It's just basic science. So with this one, it just felt like an obvious choice, but it is The Bone Witch by Chapeko. One of our patrons, Liz, has been begging me to read this book for many a month, so it just feels right that I'm doing it hopefully in October, November kind of time frame. Our main character T is a necromancer, and so she is feared among the witches, and so she has to travel a long distance in order to learn from an older and wiser bone witch, and there's a lot of tension in the kingdoms. I've heard that as the series goes on, it just continues to get better. And so I think this one is one that for the sake of Liz, I need to go ahead and read ASAP. Okay, this next one. The cover alone, I would buy it. I just need to. I need to like order it online because I haven't seen it in stores. The cover alone, I would be like, yep, I don't need to know anything about this book. But then hearing about the book is just making me salivate that much more. But it is Down Comes the Night by Alison Saft. Okay, this one sounds so interesting. It is about a girl who has very powerful magic, and basically something went really, really wrong, and she has been summoned to this mansion to heal one of the servants there at the mansion. She is really desperate to do anything to like save her name or her image, and so she goes in a heartbeat, but she finds out that the servant that she is supposed to heal is not an actual servant, but her sworn enemy. And so he is also there at that mansion to help kind of repair his image. So it's very enemies to lovers. Apparently there are like monsters and very creepy things about this mansion. It's very decrepit, and they have to work together in order to figure out the mystery that is going on there. And hook, line, sinker, I am sold. I need it now. Okay, with this next one, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on our channel before. However, this one is not like a want to get to. This is like a need to get to, and this one was recommended to me from TikTok. However, I have had many a friend read it and absolutely love it. This is another cover that is stunning. I'm obsessed with it, but it was marketed to me as a dark academia. If the Library of Alexandria was never lost, secret society moment, what? But The Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake. I literally know nothing about it other than that. And that is all I need to know. It's beautiful. I hear it's amazing. I think it's multiple point of view. I just hear that it is just jaw-dropping, stunningly gorgeous, inexplicable. So I think that this one might actually be my very first read that I do, because like I just like I need it. So this one's very, 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 very high on my list. I think it's like my #1 priority book to get to this fall. So it might be happening soon. I just like, come on, like, and it's like floppy, like it's a floppy paperback, which just makes it like superior in literally every way. So yeah, that's that. Let's read it. Okay, so now we're getting into very similar vibes. The descriptions are very different. However, they do seem like very similar books. So I think I'm going to read one of them. I'm not sure which one. And if I like it, then I'm going to read the other one because, again, there are a lot of similarities between these two. And almost also truly devious. However, I have heard that one is like incredible. I haven't heard very many about these two books in particular. However, the first one is The Ivies by Alexa Dawn, and it is about a group of seniors in high school who are obsessed with getting into one of the Ivy League schools, and they will literally do anything to do it, including murder. So it kind of sounds like, I think there is kind of like a secret society aspect to it as well. Very murder thriller, but it seems like very YA at the same time. So I'm curious about this one. The other one that kind of fits that same vibe, for me at least, is They Wish They Were Us by Jessica Goodman. This is about a girl who her freshman year of high school, her very best friend was murdered, and who did it, confessed, pled guilty. However, now it is her senior year of high school. She's in a secret society as well. That is the theme of this video. And she starts getting text messages saying that the person who pled guilty was actually innocent. Now she's going to go back, try and figure out what really did happen to her best friend 3 years ago. So again, kind of similar vibes, mystery, thriller kind of feel. If it is anything as good as A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, I'm done. Like I loved A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So I'm very hopeful that it's going to kind of be in that ballpark because I will really, really enjoy it if that's the case. Next on the list is The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. Now I saw this one all over Instagram, but in like a 2-week period, and then I feel like now I haven't heard anything else about it. But from what I heard, it was really, really great. But it is a standalone, which I am kind of into, and it's also like a contemporary fantasy mashup. But it is about a girl who magic is tied to the seasons. However, she has a special kind of magic that is tied to all of the seasons, and she is like essential to basically, from what it sounds like, the world not falling apart. And so she has to go to like this magic school in order to learn more about her magic and how to wield it. And it just kind of felt very atmospheric, and also the cover is absolutely stunning. So this one, I've heard good things. I'm like semi-excited about it just because I don't like love contemporary things generally. However, I am gonna give it a shot merely because of how many good reviews I saw. Okay, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I am a wee bit nervous about this next one because of the mixed reviews that I have heard. Some people say it is like the best thing they've ever read, and other people are like, ooh, what did I just read? I have no idea. That was so bizarre. Run as fast as you can in the opposite direction of this book. So I'm really not quite sure where I'm going to fall on the spectrum because the blurb sounds very innocent, for the most part. And so I'm just like, I don't know. But it is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which is also confusing because it feels so insanely opposite of the Shadow and Bone, Six of Crows parts of Leigh Bardugo that I'm having a hard time like wrapping my mind around this brand of Leigh Bardugo. I love the cover. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and it is very dark academia, secret society at Yale. But again, I just don't know what to believe. But apparently it's about a girl who kind of, everyone says that she's just let herself go. She has awful taste in men apparently, and she gets herself in a really, really bad situation. And basically someone is like, hey, you want to start all over? You're gonna get a full ride to Yale, but you have to do stuff for us. And that entails watching the secret society and trying to figure out things about them. And so anyway, there is a lot of possibility for weird things to happen. I just don't know what they are. So I am curious, but I'm also very nervous and slightly hesitant. So comment down below if you've read this book and if you liked it or not, and if I should read it or not, because again, curious, but should I be scared? So we'll see about that one, but it's on the list. I've also heard a lot of really, really great things about this one. I believe this book has been out for a minute. It's been out for a while. However, I've just like heard that some people love it. One of our patrons has asked us to read it, but it is the Black Witch Chronicles by Laurie Forrest, and apparently it is about our main character who, her grandmother was this super, super powerful witch who essentially like stopped a war, and she has no magic. The granddaughter has no magic, our main character, and kind of lives underneath this legacy of her grandmother, and she ends up going away to this magical school where her enemies are there, and she doesn't really know quite who to trust, and it's very much like a band of misfits kind of situation. So to me, any sort of like magical school equals fall as well. Very much like Harry Potter kind of vibes. I love a good found family kind of situation, especially the band of misfits. That's one of my favorite tropes, so I'm certainly interested to check this one out. Okay, this next one, I am fascinated by what I have like pieced together from reading the blurb, and then also just kind of the impression that I'm getting, because like, wow. So it is Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. Now, I have read The House of Salt and Sorrows, and the way that she wrote this atmospheric setting, perfection. I have a lot of thoughts on the book itself. However, her descriptions that she's able to write are so vivid and so incredibly good that I'm just like fascinated. But this blurb as well, it kind of sounds like our main character grows up in like a very secluded area. And there are stories of these monsters in the woods who they have to like be protected from. And it's very much so giving me The Village by M. Night Shyamalan vibes, which that movie absolutely terrified me as a child. But it's kind of giving me similar feels and vibes to that. However, these monsters that live in the woods, they kind of become more active, and they will give you whatever you want, these like the desires of your heart, if you will just give them like a small favor in return, which like, is anything ever what it seems? No. But that's literally all I know about it. So I'm kind of like picturing the village with like these terrifying monsters in the woods, but then Erin A. Craig and her ability to like write these such vivid, beautiful descriptions. I'm ready. I'm terrified and ready because yeah, I'm terrified and ready. Yes. Moving on. Don't worry, we only have 2 more. The next one is actually our Patreon book buddy read for the month of October, and I'm like really excited about this one because it sounds really cute. On our poll, we had some like a book that was like a brand new release in October, and then we had one that was kind of like a little bit more spooky, and this one like won by a landslide, and I just think it sounds so cute. So this is our one and only kind of like contemporary romance rom-com moment, and it just sounds absolutely adorable. And the book is The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling, and this book is about our main character who is a witch, and after the breakup she curses her ex-boyfriend, and now fast forward 9 years, she has come back to her small town that she grew up in, and there's like a chance happening meetup with the ex-boyfriend that she cursed, who is also back in town. And basically so much starts going wrong, and she realizes that the curse that she had put on him was not quite what she expected it to be, and now they have like a cute little buddy cop romance moment of trying to fix everything, and it just kind of sounds hilariously adorably tragic in like the best sorts of ways. So I'm super excited about this one. I can't wait to read it with our patrons. I think it's going to be so much fun. And the last one that is on this list is again one that I would have bought solely for the cover because it is absolutely stunningly gorgeous. And it is The Maidens by Michaelis. And this one I think I'm going to kind of put in the same ballpark as The Secret History by Donna Tartt. It just feels like maybe slightly outside of my comfort zone of what I can like know I love. However, I'm just like, I'm captivated. It's the secret society. It is set in Cambridge, murder mystery, thriller, probably not, kind of situation, but I'm just like absolutely fascinated. And basically our main character is a psychologist who went to Cambridge, and she has become like obsessed with this murder that happened, and the murder ended up being her niece's best friend, and she is convinced that it is kind of like this rock star professor who is the murderer, and she just can't prove it. Well, another murder happens, and she's like, I know it was you, you have an alibi, I don't care, but she has just become consumed with proving that it was this professor. I think it's beautiful. This might be like a nice kick in the booty for me to like step outside of my comfort zone of maybe books that I typically like to read. But yeah, like I'm like nervous. So we'll see. So needless to say, I am so excited that it's fall, that I get to read hopefully a lot of these books and talk about them. But if you have any books that you absolutely love to recommend that fit this mood or kind of this vibe, or books that are on your TBR, please feel free to comment them down below. I would love to see what your favorites are or what you're reading. Please check us out on Instagram at the Bibliovertpodcast. We also have a Patreon filled with the most amazing book-loving people ever. We have a super fun time, so definitely check that out as well. We also have a podcast called the Bibliovertpodcast where we release an episode every single week, and we basically just talk about books and have a really great time doing it. So definitely check that out as well. But I hope you have a fantastic week. Happy reading, and I'll see you next time.